What is the biggest invention of humanity? As a physicist, I might be a bit biased, but give me
10,
minutes and I'll show you that our biggest invention is how doing science works. It's the scientific method, the foundation of modern science and all our knowledge. But wait, what actually is the scientific method? How does it work? Why is it so special? And what has it done for us? We'll find out. It will be fun, I promise. I think the title, The Biggest Invention of Humanity, should only go to something that unlocked countless possibilities and opened up the world. Maybe something like the internet or bicycles. I mean, in their own ways, both made the world more accessible. And how amazing are bicycles? They take the same energy we use to walk, but let us move so much faster. But okay, even if a bicycle may let us explore new ways, it does not lead to new ways of thinking and inventing. The internet, on the other hand, was the starting point for an entire wave of new inventions. But was it? Or was the computer the actual starting point? But by that logic, it could also be logic itself, which predates computers. Both the internet and the bicycle made somewhat huge differences, but both are built on prior inventions. Maybe we should be looking for something that does not depend on early inventions, but can be created right away. But of course, it should nevertheless have a much bigger impact than these two. It should be the invention that made humans the most impactful species on Earth. I mean, we're looking for the invention of all inventions. The invention from which countless, if not all, other inventions emerge. And the invention which therefore keeps making life better across every area long term. This is the seed of all of our knowledge. And the best thing is, you don't need anything for it. Does inventing countless inventions and planting the seed of knowledge sound like fun? Well, lucky you! You get to experience it firsthand. We teleport you to an Earth-like planet. Now you're sitting there together with a few humans who are still a long way from being the most impactful species. Where do you start? Housing? Agriculture? You being the ruler? Houses are cozy, food is delicious, and you ruling sounds like fun. But to start your brand new civilization in easy mode, you should first find a way to obtain knowledge. Because knowledge means better buildings, better crops, easier rule, and inventions. Knowledge ultimately leads to new technologies. There might be a better way to stay dry than building a house, but you'll never know unless you learn about it. So, how do you obtain knowledge? You can just try things out. And if it doesn't work, you try something else. That's not too bad, but this way you never know if your tries are getting better. This way you don't know if you're moving toward the truth or away from it. And come on, we are looking for the invention of all inventions. We can do better. So, what is the best way to obtain knowledge? Or at least the best way we currently have. It's the scientific method. The scientific method works like this. You look at the world around you. You start asking questions about what you see. You try to answer those questions. But not just in any way. This is the important part. The part that makes all this be more than just simple thinking about the world. You don't just give an answer, you give an answer that can turn out to be wrong. And you want to be able to test if it's wrong. Let's say you decided to finally plant some food. You looked at your world and you saw that some of your crops didn't grow as much as others. You're asking yourself why this happened. You're wondering if this is caused by the shade of nearby trees. So the answer you come up with is: shade makes crops grow more slowly. We call this kind of answer a hypothesis. Because in the next step, we can test if it's wrong. You can plant crops under the same conditions, but you make sure that some of them are in the shade. Now, the hypothesis predicts that they should grow more slowly. If they actually do so, your hypothesis could be true. But what's even more important is that if they aren't growing slower, you know that your hypothesis is false. So, a hypothesis is a preliminary explanation of what we see. From it come predictions about what should happen. You can explicitly test if those predictions turn out to be true or wrong. So you can test if your hypothesis could be true or if it's wrong. We say a hypothesis is testable, or even better, falsifiable. You can, for example, see that things fall to the ground, and then ask why that is. Maybe due to some attraction between masses. That's something you can falsify. Build a device that deflects if two masses attract. If nothing happens, the hypothesis is probably wrong, or the attraction is smaller than expected. By the way, this experiment plays a crucial role in determining Earth's mass. You can learn more about that in this video. You could also answer the question by claiming there's a demon at the center of the Earth using magic to pull everything down. But you cannot falsify that. At least I don't see any way to test it. If you do, please let me know in the comments. So, the scientific method tells us to look at the world around us. Ask questions and try to answer those questions with a hypothesis. A hypothesis that can be tested and therefore falsified. Great! So, what comes next in the scientific method? It's thinking about how you can test your hypothesis and then, well, testing it. So, you set up an experiment, the hypothesis predicts how it should turn out, and then you check if that actually happens. The next step is to ask what this result means. Did it support your hypothesis, so you can maybe refine it? Or do you have to reject your hypothesis? If you indeed discovered that crops do grow more slowly in the shade, but not as slowly as next to the trees, you're probably missing something. So, this here is already a pretty good knowledge discovery method. You're gonna be a good ruler, cause you're ruling with knowledge. Since we're talking about it, you're not all alone. So you should also talk with others about your test and conclusion. If you learned that crops grow more slowly in shade, everyone growing crops should know this. And together you'll likely reach far better conclusions than you would ever alone. We publish in scientific journals such that everyone else can use our results as well to refine their own work. Because together we are so much smarter. Building on our results, we can then look at the world again and ask new questions. Maybe shade wasn't the only factor. What else could have caused it? This way we are approaching the truth, cycle by cycle. Thereby, it's important to remember that just because an experiment has not falsified a hypothesis, it does not mean the hypothesis is the ultimate truth. It simply means it's our best explanation for now. I mean, living in the 21st century, we know that gravity being caused by the attraction of masses is not the final answer, even though this experiment supports it. Our current best explanation for gravity comes from general relativity. But in the end, humanity found a theory for gravity and then improved it using the scientific method. Isn't that way better than inventing agriculture right away? I mean, it's almost as awesome as you hitting that like and subscribe button. Thank you. Now we can keep improving our farming bit by bit. And the best thing is, using the scientific method, we know that we are actually improving. Well, actually we are just pretty sure we are improving. But the scientific method can lead to wrong conclusions. I mean, after all, it's quite easy to make some mistakes or be biased when interpreting results. However, the scientific method is the biggest invention of humanity because it is the best way we currently have to discover, check and improve our knowledge. But it's not bulletproof. Science is not the same as the truth. It's just our best way of approaching the truth. It works best when we are willing to throw out old theories as soon as we're confronted with new evidence. That can be really hard, but it can be really fun too. I mean, this is basically about challenging authority anytime. The only authority worth respecting is reproducible knowledge. If you stick to the facts and set your feelings aside, the scientific method lets you gain knowledge that anyone can reproduce. Anyone can just redo the same experiment, or rather the same experiments. Because the more ways a hypothesis is tested, the more likely it is to be correct. A hypothesis backed by just one or a few experiments might be interesting, but it's still a long way from being considered established. Alright, great! We discovered the scientific method, the biggest invention of humanity. The best way to start your civilization in easy mode. But don't worry, I'm not leaving you like this. I've got something else for you. Another big idea that helps us discover knowledge and sets physics apart from other sciences. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.